Here are our quiz solutions. Quiz 6 for Math 95. Number 1, we're just asked to evaluate each of these, kind of say what they're equal to. So what is the square root of 9? What number times itself is equal to 9? That answer's 3. You don't need to tell me why, but maybe over here I'll write because, 3 times 3 equals 9. Negative square root of 16 is negative 4, and that's because the negative of 4 times 4 is equal to negative 16. The square root of negative 25, this does not exist. Why? Because when you square anything, you can't get it. You can't square a real number and end up with a negative. Let's see, maybe because you can't square a real number and end up with a negative. All right, you might think that negative 5 would be the answer, but negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. However, the cubed root you can take the cubed root of a negative. The cubed root of negative 8 is negative 2, and that's because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is equal to negative 8. Okay, so that's number 1. In number 2, we're asked to simplify each of these. Basically, you need to know the exponent rules. You need to know that when you raise something raised up to an exponent to another exponent, you multiply the exponents. So this is x to the 1/2 times 1/3. For multiplying fractions, you just multiply straight across. So 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 3 is 6. So you get x to the 1/6. You can leave it like this. This is the same, if you really wanted to, that's the same as the 6th root of x. X to the 1/2 times x to the 1/3. Okay, we have the same base, so we add the exponents. So this is x to the 1/2 plus 1/3. If you want to add fractions with different denominators, you need a common denominator. Multiply this by 3 over 3. Say this is x to the 3/6. Plus, if we multiply this guy by 2 over 2, we get x to the 2/6, or we get 2/6. Now you add those exponents. 3/6 plus 2/6 is 5/6. Or if you prefer to write it in radical notation, we'd say it's the 6th root of x to the 5th power. And then finally, when you're dividing, you subtract the exponents. 1/3. Similar to up here, you need a common denominator if you want to subtract them. So it's 3/6 minus 2/6. Which, much like in part A, ends up being 1/6. That is just coincidence. And if you'd rather write it in radical notation, you'd write the 6th root of x. Either of these are fine. And that is the end of this quiz.